Hello, hello, hello. There we go. I am back. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Yo, You Like That. We are now going to be introducing our second guest here today. Let's see. Let me go ahead and introduce the lovely and wonderful FabVallon. Let me go. And let me go. Ba. The lovely Fab, everyone. Give them your applause. Yeah, yeah, yay. Let me actually put the audio on for you. There we go. Now they can hear you. Yay.
Oh, lovely. Thank you, Ham Ham.
Everyone, this is my good friend Fab, and they are here today to share with us one of the games that they love, love, love. Want to go ahead and introduce it to us?
Ah, beautiful fantasy side scroller RPG, action RPG called Odin Sphere from
Yeah!
2007.
Odin Sphere is the jam.
Amazing game.
It is truly like a beautiful and fantastic game. I am excited to talk about this.
By all means.
So, so, starting off, as I always like to ask, how did you discover this wonderful game?
How did I discover Odin Sphere? I think I discovered it by complete accident, by just going on a random message boards, checking for RPGs, and someone just name dropped it.
Oh.
And they dropped a few screenshots, and that was and unfortunately that was back in the days when screenshots weren't exactly the resolution they are today, so it was still a little
What?
hard
You
to.
mean the back of a game box lied? Fab, no. No. I got all of my information from life on the back of game boxes. Don't lie to me. No, don't tell me it's true or that it's not true.
Oh, if only. But I saw those screenshots, I saw the name, and thought to myself, need to get it.
Do it, do it, do it. Yay! And then you had a great time.
Oh, I had a fantastic time. I actually had the opportunity to play that on a backwards compatible PlayStation 3, and it was only
Oh.
after I played it that I heard that Odin Sphere on actual PlayStation 2 hardware unfortunately not does not run the best. And
It's got a little bit of slowdown, just a little bit. It's an ambitious game. If I can
oh,
say Odin
yeah,
Sphere is anything, it is an ambitious game.
it is very ambitious. And I had the opportunity to get a 60 gig PlayStation 3, and those PlayStation 3s came with the actual PlayStation 2 hardware, so you could play any PlayStation 2 game that would suffer from frame drops like Odin Sphere, and it would enhance that and eliminate most of them. And
Yeah, I still have one of those PS3s too. I've had to get it repaired like 3 or 4 times. I've refused to let it go. It is an archaic treasure. Darn it.
it
What if
is.
I want to play my PS2 games like Odin Sphere and Grim Grimoire? I mean, we're getting options nowadays, but at the time there wasn't.
If only. But lucky for us, there's Odin Sphere Literacy here.
Yes. Oh, and that is a definite like the game didn't like well I mean as far as like quality of life like it is like some very good improvements, but as far as like the gameplay goes like they didn't really change that much. The game still plays like as awesomely like dynamic and beautifully as ever.
That it does. And you even have the option to play it the way it was meant to play, the way it was played on the PlayStation 2, or try a brand new control screen.
Oh man, no, just a beautiful awesome game overall without a doubt. But what about it? I want to say, do you find the most enjoyable?
The most enjoyable? Ooh, that is a very tough tie between the art style and the overall narrative.
Ah,
And what I love
break it down for me.
so what I love about the art style the most is that it is very consistent throughout the entire game because they use the same art style to convey exploration, battle, and exposition. So every cutscene and every major scene in the game is all displayed as a 2D painting.
You know, I never actually stopped to realize that, but you're right. There is no break in regards as far as like style. Like everything is done like on the same engine, the same palette, the same colors. And no, it just all like streams together.
It is unbelievable because it's so eye pleasing and mind pleasing as well. But the narrative is so well written.
Yeah, we get the Tarantino style of playing through five different characters, each of them going through kind of like the same series of events from different areas, different times, different perspectives, but it all ties together into like a beautiful package that's just like, it just hits the nail on the head in every right spot.
Oh, most definitely. The game is linear in that regards because you will play the characters in the game's order, but as soon as you see their intersections as well, you will have an even bigger understanding of the overall world of Arion. I
Yeah. Actually, I think it benefits from like the order that they kind of makes you play them in, because just like things like unravel and like you just learn so much more like with each chapter that you're like, oh, you almost like your brain goes back and you're like, I get that part now, or that makes so much more sense.
Mhm.
Or you see something, you're like, oh man, I'm glad the last chapter had this because now it explains the dragon thing so much better. And it's like, yes, it just like stacks up so well.
Oh, most definitely. When when I first played the game, I actually played it on hard for the first time, and
Oh, you're so brave.
I did not realize how hard the game will get. So I reached the final chapters with all the characters, and I decided to replay the entire game to level them up just a little bit more and also farm for items. And I came very, very prepared for the final battles.
Yeah,
And
that's
that
how you
was a
gotta
lot of
do it.
fun.
Go back and redo everyone's story and just eat everything in that Kupo cafeteria. I got Moogles on my brain.
Oh dear. They're both quite adorable, them and the Pukas.
Yeah, good old Puka Prince.
A few weeks ago, I actually got to meet the English voice for the Puka Prince.
Oh, that's right. Oh man, I bet that's awesome. Is it one of those like things where you're like, oh, I loved you in this game? And he's like, yeah, I remember doing that game. Actually, you probably would have remembered it doing the voice again lately.
Oh my gosh. So a little deviation here, but SAC anime was full of voice actors. So many voice actors. And it was lovely to see them all. And I remember bringing my copy of Odin Sphere, the PlayStation 2 Black Label copy. I brought it to Yuri Lowenthal, and he remembered exactly who he was in the game and the game itself.
Yes.
And another slight deviation, I also brought my copy of Shin Megami Tensei Digital Devil Saga Part 1, where he plays the where he provides the voice for the main character for one of the main characters, Seraph, and he recognized that as well. He called me.
That's so crazy. Seraph doesn't really have many lines in that game, and he's
No, not at all.
like not compared to like Wendy Lee or uh uh who's Heat in that game? Oh, I know. It's the same voice as Keon and Haruhi. My brain.
Oh dear. I did
I
that
gotta
as
look this up real
well.
fast. This is gonna bug me.
So he signed my copies, and I still have that copy displayed on my shelves.
Crispin Freeman. Crispin Freeman. That's who does the voice of Heat. He's also Zelgadis and Slayer, so that's why it always bugs me that I can't
Hmm.
remember that sometimes. I love him so. But yeah, no, that's so cool though. Oh man, I haven't gotten to really like meet any voice actors. I think the most I've met as a con is Brental Floss. He's a good guy, but slight tangent, but you know,
Mhm.
it still ties back to Odin Sphere how just like the voices are also just like key like in the game. Like they suit the characters so well.
That they do. When I first played the game, I played it in the Japanese voice acting, but then for Lift Receiver, I decided to play the English voice acting, and I found them both to be quite enjoyable in their own terms.
Huh. I didn't even know the Japanese voice acting was in the PS2 one.
It
I
won't.
kind of want to listen to both now. I mean that
They're both
I'm all
fantastic.
about listening to those other languages. Sometimes it's just fun. It's like, yeah, no, let's just change it. It's like Sonic Adventure 2. It's like listening to that in Japanese is like a whole different like beast than listening to it in English.
Hmm. I can't remember which game recently. I think it was one of the Street Fighters that allowed you to change specific characters from English to Japanese.
Yeah, Street Fighter 5 had that. Yes.
What an interesting feature.
It is really cool. I want Tekken to have that, but instead of just like English, Japanese, I want every character's language in regards. Like I want Hwoarang to speak like Korean and Jin to speak Japanese and Nina Williams to speak English and just they all understand each other.
Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing.
Oh man, such like a you like a world like a true like world my brain died again. But just such like a worldwide cast, like each like representing the language like perfectly. Like the the voice acting would have to like I don't even know how you would do that,
Oh,
but it would just be fun,
that would
you know.
that would be an amazing collaborative effort. Have,
Oh, without a doubt, yes. So the artist, or like the main artist, and I think like a director for Odin Sphere, like George Kamitami,
Mhm.
like he definitely has like put a lot of like passion into the series lately. Especially, you can tell like a lot of like inspirations from like Dungeons and Dragons as stories, like with Dragon Crown, um, in regards to like his fantasy ideas compared to like the 13 Sentinels, kind of like modern. Is there one you prefer over the other? Or?
So, looking at Vanillaware's track record, 13 Sentinels is the first time they truly tackled sci fi. And that makes it a very, very interesting challenge for them. And honestly, I think they did a fantastic job on that. And their track record already shows that they can do fantasy just as good. So I I oh dear, I don't have any preference over the others.
No, that's good. I like that answer. It's like no, like it's all great. Like the fantasy, the modern, or like the sci-fi. Even like a Muramaza, like doing like the old like samurai style. Like even that, just like it works so well with like their engine and their art. Like everything just like works so well together. So I'm glad that they got their like quote unquote like not origin, but kind of like the inspiration from like old like D&D fantasy stuff. But that has blossomed to like so many other genres. It's like truly that. Um, it's a company like evolving past like their like original limitations and getting to branch out more. And that's what I love to see in games and game development, like things just building up on each other like that.
Oh, it's been fantastic. I've been following Vanillaware since Odin Sphere really, and seeing their path and track record grow and evolve like that is has been fantastic.
It's definitely good. I remember they first caught my eye because I saw there was like an Atlas thing on there. I'm like, oh, I like Atlas games, and then I played it, and I'm like, oh yeah, I like this. It wasn't later until I learned that Vanillaware was like, they just got Atlas to publish their stuff, but just man, Odin Sphere was, from what a lot of people I talked to, it was their like intro to Vanillaware, and everyone just has good things to say about it.
It is it is the first game that came outside of Japan. Their first game at least. So
Yeah. Okay. Now the big important question: who's your favorite? Who's your favorite character? We have to know. Staggering minds need to find out.
my favorite character, Gwendolyn.
Yeah, Gwendolyn's a good choice. Any reason her over the others?
To say to say the true reason would be unfortunately very spoilerish. So I'm gonna have to use unfortunately a little bit of my bias saying that she's the first character you get to play as.
Mm-hmm.
And I love her I love her speed, I love her movement, I love her battle style. To me, she she felt a little bit like Dante from Devil May Cry, which was
Yeah.
so interesting to see in a 2D perspective. So I grew attached to her because of her battle system. And If I say
Yeah, no,
if I say
I was gonna
narrative,
say.
unfortunately, I would be spoiling.
No, no, you're good. No, Gwendolyn is a lot of fun. The whole, like, it's a good. She's the best character to definitely learn the game with because you learn the difference between like the ground combos, the air combos, how movement works, how the story kind of progresses, and she definitely like kind of like leads the game as far as like not like the initial events start with her, but it almost feels like her kind of being like the catalyst to the viewer's introduction to the story. Feels more appropriate with her than anyone else. I feel.
I would definitely agree to that.
Uh, I personally like the Puka Prince as far as like his gameplay goes, but only because like when you say Dante, I'm like, yeah, no, the Puka Prince to me is definitely just like just going buck wild with the sword, like swinging pizzas and just flying all over the place. But all the characters play well, and each of them plays like so different from each other that it doesn't feel like you're like rehashing like the same like game every time you play.
Oh, that's one of the beauties of this game. Every character feels different to control, to move, to play as. So you'll you'll always get something different with each of the characters.
It's almost like a good evolution of the classic beat 'em up style of like old like Streets of Rage and stuff, you know?
I can I can definitely see that. One of the funnest things from the perspective of battle is that you're always in a circular arena, except for boss battles. And since you're always in a circular arena, you can go from one side to the other and you have full freedom of movement. You never feel stuck.
Yeah, you're never stuck with just go right. Just go right. It's like, no, I want to go left. And it's like, all right, you can go left. And then it's like, but bam, you catch the enemy from behind, and then you throw a big like fireball potion, and then just explosions everywhere, and it's a good time. And then there's just one area. Then you get to go have a new fight and adventure in the next area.
And the way the dungeons are designed or the levels is mesmerizing.
Yeah, so especially like getting like the map to kind of like be able to chart your way to it. It just works out really well. How would you feel, or like, how do you feel about like the future of like Vanillaware stuff going forward? We are about to get a Grim Grimoire
That we are.
brought over.
That we are, which sounds amazing and lovely. I've already pre-ordered my copy. I'm very excited. And
Yeah,
we did mention Muramasa earlier, and I think that Muramasa is next in line for a remake.
it's definitely due for one. That game is trapped on the Vita. Save Muramasa from the Vita, please.
About
It,
Muramasa was such an interesting case because when Muramasa released on the Wii, it was restricted to 400 to 480p. And
it
then
was.
and then when it released on the Vita, the resolution was much higher, but unfortunately the screen was smaller. And
And then we got the DLC exclusive to the Vita version. Here's the Fox Girl story. It's like, I love it.
oh, that sounds amazing. I do need to replay it at some point. But
Yeah. Oh man. Yes. No. I'm definitely looking forward to whatever Vanillaware makes. They take their time when they make their games because clearly with all the art assets, like
oh, they do.
if I remember, I think like 13 Sentinels had like 3 delays overall, but it was definitely worth it.
Yeah, I do remember that. I do remember 13 Sentinels having many delays. But not
But it's like a fine dish. It's worth the wait. Now I know Twitch chat is acting all silly right now because I had to like restart my screen a few times to get the
oh no.
little bit of the chat going. But is there anyone watching that's able to type in that maybe wanted to ask some questions to Fab or ask about the like Odin Sphere?
Here. Is your chat okay, Ham Ham?
It's okay on my screen at the moment, but I don't know. Earlier it was being like, it's trying to connect to chat. It's trying to connect to chat.
Here.
That's okay. If anything, like the video and us being heard is still going strong. So I'm I'm just sad that the chat can't interact with us. But that's okay. I will ask a question then.
By all means.
Um. so- oh. Um. Oh, here we go. Oh wait, there seems to be a bit of an internet problem going around. Oh, thank you, Brad. Um.
Hmm.
Then I will ask you in the chat. Hold on one second. Let's see. Um. Like in regards to like PS2 games kind of like getting brought back. Is there like any others like off the top of your head you'd like to see kind of get like the Odin Sphere or Left and Rouser treatment?
From the PS2 era?
Yeah.
Well, we did mention Shin Megami Tensei Digital Devil Saga.
Oh,
I would
yay.
love, I would love to see it come back.
yes, 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 yes. Oh man, that is one of my favorites.
Such a classic. And once again, signed by Yuri Lowenthal.
So good. Oh man. All right. Well, fam, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to join me on the show.
Of
Go
course,
ahead and tell
always a
our
pleasure.
viewers what to expect on your channel going forward.
Hello, hello, cuties. So, I do believe that tomorrow we might be able to finish Voice of Cards, The Beast of Burden.
Oh.
And over the weekend I'll figure what to do over the weekend.
Yeah. But you play like a good like variety of games. I noticed like you do like Beast of Burden, but you've also like played like some like adventure action games. Were you playing Splatoon? I forget.
Oh, oh dear, I haven't been able to stream Splatoon yet.
Ah, that's okay.
But other than
But yes, everyone, go give FabVallon. Let me give them a shout out here. I don't know if the chat will be able to see it, but hey,
here,
shout out FabVallon. It's underscore at the end, right? Nope,
oh,
it's not. Underscore in the middle, right?
right,
There
underscore
we
in the
go.
middle.
Yay, there we go. So yes, everyone give Fab a follow and get ready to watch some awesome games and also the finale of Yoko Taro's Beast of Cards. I know it's like, Beast of Burden, Voice of Cards, but I picked a lot of the good words and just mashed them together.
That works for me. It is a Yoko Tower game.
yeah. Anyway, thank you everyone for coming by. Next week we will be having two more guests, so keep an eye on my Twitter in regards to updates then. Um, and after a 15 or so minute break, we will go ahead and do our nightly stream of Sly Cooper. So feel free to stop in for that. It should be fun. Thank you again, Fab, for joining us, and I hope you have a lovely rest of the night.
Thank you, thank you.